What are some signs that a process needs reworking? So in my experience, and part of the diligence we do when we go into a small business to look at, what is your human capital? And human capital is that it's diminishing, it's growing in value. Your human capital is exactly that. What is the value of not the people you have, but the value of their experience, their capacity, their backgrounds, their training, all these different elements. Think about it as like your investment portfolio. You have stocks, you have bonds, you have high risk, you have low risk. All of these things kind of factor in together. So when we look at a process that needs reworking, we obviously look at it from a human capital perspective. So we want to look at the individual who's in charge of that process and what is their knowledge, where are they going, do they have any capacity to build it. So in keeping kind of with the theme of today, if we look at operations, as companies need to grow and scale, lean management is a useful tool to do that. And that's one of the things we'll look at. What efficiencies have you put in place in the operation to improve quality, to improve on-time delivery, to lower labor costs, to make a safer environment for people. And we listen for the answers. And if people just say, hey, we just do what we do, this is how we've always done it, there's probably need for process improvement around that. You're going to want to look at it. And I've said this before, any operational leader you talk to, if they've been trained in a large environment, the things you want to listen for are safety first. We want all of our people to go home with the same number of fingers and toes that they came to work with. Quality second, everything else third. Those are things a well-trained operation person will say. I think I shared this story before, but I had a client and we put a director of operations in there, and I followed up with them and said, how's this person doing? And they said, they're doing pretty well. I don't think they're working on the right things, but I think they're doing okay. And so I said, well, let me go have a chat with them. So I went out into the operation and chatted with them and said, how's it going? And they said, yeah, let me show you around some of the things I've been working on. And all of them were safety. Every single thing they were working on was safety, and ergonomic safety for, they had some very skilled workers and very few of them. So if one of them was out sick or injured, that would hurt their productivity. And they recognized this and they said, I've improved the process here because can't afford to have one of these people hurt their back and be able to work. Rearrange things to make sure the traffic flows were there, because we run forklifts. And if the traffic flows aren't clearly mapped and we don't have the proper forklift procedures in place, people get hurt. And forklift accidents are not, they're usually pretty major. And so I went back to my owner and said, nope, they're working on exactly the right things. And now that individual, fast forward a couple years down the road, and the business is humming and they're super pleased. But those are the things. You can't go fast until you have all the wheels put on the automobile correctly. And that's what a good operational person will do for you. So when I look at when you need a process that's reworking, the biggest symptom I would look for is if the only input you have is time. If you say, look, all we got to do is work harder, have more people working more to scale, that process is probably broken, or not broken, but maxed out. It's a $5 million, you're running a $10 million business on a $5 million a year process. And so if the only input is just work harder, do more, and this should work, there's probably some constraints that exist in the process, whatever it could be, that need to be addressed or removed, or we just need to rework the entire process.